This happened in 2018. I was 22 at the time, living alone in a small apartment complex in Maryland. I worked night shifts at a hospital about 30 minutes away, which meant my hours were kind of messed up. I'd sleep during the day and be wide awake when most people were asleep. So I got used to running errands at odd hours, especially grocery shopping. There was this 24-hour grocery store about 10 minutes from my place. Not the sketchiest, but definitely not a place you'd want to hang around outside. I went there around 1:30 a.m. on a Tuesday. The store was pretty empty, maybe 3 other customers and a cashier. I was in the frozen food aisle when I first saw him. Mid-30s, average build, wearing a puffy jacket despite the warm weather. He was just standing at the end of the aisle, kind of half looking into one of the freezer doors, but clearly watching me. You know that feeling when you're not alone, even when no one's talking? It was like that. I moved to another aisle. He showed up there too. Then again in the dairy section, always just behind me, never grabbing anything, just hovering. I figured maybe he was just browsing and it was a coincidence. I didn't want to jump to conclusions. But when I went to self-checkout, I caught him again, standing near the exit, still with empty hands. I finished up and walked briskly to my car. It was cold and the parking lot was poorly lit. I was about to unlock my door when I heard footsteps, quick, deliberate ones. I turned and there he was, holding a single can of Monster Energy drink. No bag, no receipt. He smiled, but not in a friendly way. It was forced. His eyes didn't match his expression. He held something out to me and said, "Hey, you dropped this." It was a pack of gum, not mine. I said, "No, that's not mine." He took a step closer. "You sure?" he said again. I didn't respond. I got in my car, locked the doors, and started it. He tried the passenger handle. When it didn't open, he just stood there, watching me drive off, not chasing or yelling, just watching. The next day I told the store manager and asked if there were cameras. They checked the footage. The guy hadn't bought anything. He'd followed me from aisle to aisle, and then waited near the door for me to finish paying. The worst part? I started finding small packs of that same gum in my mailbox. Every few days. Always the same kind. No note, no name, just the gum. I moved out 2 months later, but I still never go grocery shopping at night. I used to work part-time at the library of a university campus. It was a quiet job, shelving books, helping students, restocking printers. Kind of boring, but it paid well and I liked the early shifts. Every Wednesday I opened the library alone at 7 a.m. It was always dead that early. Maybe 1 or 2 students waiting outside, especially during finals. There was this one guy who showed up every single Wednesday, always alone. Late 30s, maybe 40. Skinny, unshaven, wore the same tan jacket every week. I figured he was just a regular, but the thing is, he never used the library like a student. He'd come in, walk around a bit, and then sit in the back. No books, no laptop, just watching. And every time I looked up, he was facing me. Not reading, not working, just watching. I started getting paranoid. I'd move around randomly, pretending to shelve in different areas, and no matter where I went, eventually I'd catch him nearby. Never close, never doing anything technically wrong, but always there. Then one day I left work and walked to my car. I parked in the staff lot behind the building. My car was unlocked. Nothing was taken, but the glove compartment was open, and my center console had been rummaged through. I'm obsessive about locking my doors. That was the first red flag. A few days later, I found a note under my windshield wiper. It was written on an index card and said, "You're beautiful when you shelve books." I froze. The handwriting was messy like a child's, and the E's were all backward. I didn't tell anyone at first. I thought maybe it was a weird joke or prank, but it kept happening. Another time, I was walking home. I lived close to campus and my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I answered and there was just breathing, not loud, just soft, slow, intentional. I hung up. It called again. I didn't answer. Eventually, I reported it to campus security. Their response was basically, "Unless he touches you, there's nothing we can do." Then came the night I came home to find a photo taped to my front door. It was a picture of me, taken from behind, walking into my apartment the night before. The timestamp on the corner showed it had been taken around 11:17 p.m. I broke down. I called the police. They took it seriously. They pulled surveillance footage from nearby traffic cams, and sure enough, they found the guy's car following me home multiple times. He had a history. 2 restraining orders for stalking ex-coworkers. He'd somehow found my schedule, maybe from watching me or checking online. I moved out. I changed my phone number, my email, everything. But every now and then, I get a message in a new inbox. Just one word. Shelving? This happened in the summer of 2023. I'd just gotten out of a long, messy relationship and didn't feel safe staying at my old place. My friend Melissa offered to let me stay at her house while I got back on my feet. She lived in a 1-story ranch-style home in the suburbs. Quiet neighborhood, big backyard, nothing unusual. It felt safe, especially compared to the chaos I'd just left behind. One weekend, Melissa and her fiancé went on a trip to visit family, so I was alone in the house. I didn't mind. I actually liked the quiet. That Saturday night, around 11 p.m., I was watching a movie on the couch with the windows open. It was a warm night, a light breeze. I was halfway through the movie when I heard a click from the back of the house. It sounded like a doorknob turning. I paused the movie. Everything was silent. Then I brushed it off. Probably just the house settling, or maybe a raccoon or something. An hour later, I noticed movement outside the window. Just a shadow, barely noticeable. When I turned my head, it ducked out of view. That got my heart going. I stood up and locked all the windows. Checked the doors. Everything was secure. Around 2 a.m., I dozed off on the couch. I don't know how long I was asleep before I woke up again. Something had startled me. Maybe a sound, maybe instinct. I sat up, and that's when I saw him. There was a man standing just outside the back sliding door, inches from the glass, tall, wearing dark clothes and perfectly still. I couldn't see his face, just his silhouette in the moonlight. Then he raised his hand and tapped against the glass. In his hand, he was holding a key. He started slowly unlocking the door. That's when I realized it was the spare key. Melissa kept it hidden in a fake rock next to the back step. I screamed. That must have startled him because he bolted. I called the police immediately. They arrived within minutes and found boot prints all around the perimeter, along with small scratch marks under every window, like someone had tried prying them open. But the most disturbing part? A week later, Melissa found a ladder hidden in the bushes behind the shed. It hadn't been there before. The theory is he'd been watching the house for days, maybe longer, waiting for me to be alone, waiting for the right night. And he almost got it.